What's up, people? This is your Cosmic Homegirl, and I am doing a reading on a current, like people who are currently in the news, in the media. I don't really watch the news. I catch headlines because I am on a couple of social media platforms. So, of course, a couple headlines come my way here and there, and some of them grab me, some of them don't. But this one did grab me because I am a really big fan of one of the people that are going to be discussed right now. And pardon my voice if I sound like an old smoker lady. It's early in the morning. I just woke up, so yeah, I just sound like Marge Simpson and her sisters in the morning, I guess. Taurus life. Okay. Taurus rules the voice, and my voice is very sensitive to any type of changes or anything. Okay, so I sound terrible, but yo, listen though. We have August Alsina and Jada Pinkett Smith and Will Smith in the news right now because August just came out with a couple of interviews. He's promoting a new album. He has a little docu-series on YouTube following him for the last few years of his life, talking about things that he's been through and his career and everything. I really love August Alsina personally, okay? Because I don't know, something about him just really does grab me. Like his energy, his spirit just grabs me. I do like his music, yes, but I don't know, when he talks, like there's just something about him. I don't know what his birth time is, you guys. But I really feel a lot of water energy from August, meaning we don't see any planets and water signs in his chart, except he has Pluto and Scorpio, but that's not really that big of a deal when it comes to someone's immediate personality. He probably has a water ascendant, a water sign ascendant, meaning Pisces, Cancer, or Scorpio, or he has an ascendant to where some of his major planets, like all this Virgo stuff, the Libra and the moon and Sag, maybe even his Mars and Gemini, maybe they land in water houses in his chart, meaning the 12th house, the 4th house, or the 8th house, because those water signs and water houses, they rule emotions. They're very emotional. They're very empathic. They are deep feeling. They make you a deep feeler. And August Alsina is all of those. And for those of you who don't know who he is a singer. I do a lot with editing and all this fancy stuff and all these dope visuals and everything. I did go to school for that, and I know how to do that shit outside of school as well. Video production and audio stuff. But I'm just kind of being raw right now just because whatever, so I could pull up all kinds of pictures and receipts and this and that, but just listen to me and follow along. And if you want to see who he is, you can Google or YouTube, look up on YouTube his name. He's a very beautiful, handsome guy, and he's just got this spirit that is very much connected to his soul. Like this, he's a very soulful person, and he's been through a lot. He's been through a lot of shit in his life, But anyway, let's just focus mostly on the relationship stuff that's in the news right now, that is the quote unquote the tea that's going around. So August Alsina, he is currently 27 years old, I think. Yeah, he's about to be 28 this year. He's starting his Saturn return, okay, which usually happens around 27 to 28 years old, meaning Saturn is coming back around to the same sign that it was in when he was born. Saturn was okay, because as I'm recording this, Saturn is transitioning back into Capricorn, going backwards, retrograde back into Capricorn, but it's been dipping. It's going to dip in and out of Aquarius in 2020, which is the year I'm recording this. So it is the beginning of his Saturn return, meaning Saturn is about hard lessons in life. Saturn is your hardest lessons that you have to learn, and karma and all that stuff. And when it comes back around to you, to the place it was when you were born, it means that you are having a lot of karma come back to you, a lot of issues in your life you've gone through, you're having to face them again, but from a different set of eyes. And the Saturn return is the time of your true maturity in life. This is why people always say 30 years old is like, you're starting to be old, quote unquote, is 30. Or a lot of people don't mature until after 30. People who don't even know astrology, they use that age, 30 years old, roughly around 30, as a major milestone in maturity as an adult, because this is when, around ballpark of 30 years old is when you go through your Saturn return. You go through some hardcore shit. You look at your life differently, and this is what causes like you to evolve and mature at least somewhat because we do have some 50 and 40-year-olds running around here still, acting in negative ways like they're in high school. Okay. If you have a youthful spirit about you and you're older, that's dope. But like, I'm talking about you haven't learned life lessons, that type of stuff. You know what I mean? But the Saturn return really does bring about some maturity, and you face life issues, even including from your childhood and everything, head on. So anyway, August, he's always going through some things, it seems, but he's going through some things right now. He's so he doesn't mind. So he's going through this time to where maybe he does need a little extra therapy, and he's, whatever. So this is why this topic is coming up. His relationship with Miss Jada Pinkett Smith. Okay. So Jada Pinkett, she's an actress. She's an OG by now actress. She's been active since the 90s, acting in the mainstream. And she is Jada Pinkett Smith because she's married to Will Smith, the OG Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. Oh my gosh, one of the dopest shows ever, right? And he's like he's an actor in a lot of popular movies too, but he will forever, with me being a kid of the 90s, he will forever be the Fresh Prince to me. Okay, so we're going to look at all three of them real quick, okay? First of all, before we jump into the relationship between August Alsina and Jada Pinkett Smith, Jada is married to Will. And while married to Will, yes, she had something going on, allegedly, quote unquote, with August Alsina. Well, I'm here to tell you guys, astrology doesn't lie, okay? And yes, you have to say allegedly, legally, but I'm here to tell you guys, astrology doesn't lie. So I am totally with August on his side. He's not just talking about this stuff for clout. He's not just gossiping like a woman, like some people are saying. No, he's really speaking his truth about his relationship with Jada. Okay. And we're going to see why in a second. Okay. So here's Jada Pinkett Smith's chart. She's a Virgo. Everybody knows that. She's got a stellium of planets in Virgo, which means she has a lineup of at least 3 to 4 planets in the sign of Virgo. She's got Mercury, the planet of communication, in Virgo. She's got the moon in Virgo. She's got the sun. She's got Pluto. Very powerful lineup in Virgo. So she's a Virgo to the T. Jada has this series called Red Table Talk. I've only peeped a few episodes myself personally, but I think they put it on Facebook or something like that, to where she gathers people around a round table, including her family, and they discuss like very important human life topics, right? And I did watch the one where she had August on as a guest, and she talked about having an addictive personality. Virgo is notorious for having an addictive personality. Not only Virgos, okay, so don't come at me, Virgos, okay? Virgo is one of a few signs that tend to have addictive personalities. So, that is something important to remember, because she said she's had addictions in her life. Addictions to regular life things, addictions to going to the gym, but she also said she was addicted to sex too, okay? And listen, having the sun conjunct Pluto is a planet that rules Scorpio. Scorpio rules the genitalia and the actions that you perform with them, okay? So yeah, having the sun conjunct Pluto can definitely make someone an addict of that sort. Venus, she has Venus in a conjunction with Pluto. Venus rules love and relationships and the enjoyment of another person physically in any type of way, even if you like just the feeling, the warm feeling of being embraced by another person. It doesn't have to be like something dirty, it doesn't have to be major. It doesn't have to be like the act. It can be just, I enjoy the smell of a man's cologne, or I enjoy being embraced by a man and just the warmth of it and just putting my head in his chest. Like that feeling, those physical feelings are Venus in a conjunction with Pluto. That can make someone obsessive over those things. So she wasn't lying. She has had that addictive, those addictions before. So what's the deal with Will and Jada and their quote unquote open marriage that they deny, but then they don't, but then they kind of let out things about, but then they don't, then they deny? Okay, what's with that? What's up with that? So there's a few things that can rule open marriages, open relationships, openness to anything that is beyond the norm. Okay. One of the major energies that rule that is Aquarius. Aquarius rules the future, the weird, the outrageous, the eccentric, the, hey, you guys are all going that way as sheep. Well, I'm going to go my own way as an individual against what everybody else is doing. I'm going to find my own way, but it's not only solely for the sake of rebelling, like blindly rebelling. It's usually Aquarian energy. They do their research, and if they figure out that something that everybody else is doing, that everybody else considers the norm, is not true to them authentically, they don't want to do it. It just feels itchy and weird to them, to do what everybody else says is normal. So that's why Aquarian energy is labeled quote unquote weird. People usually don't understand what Aquarian energies people do, and they label it as all this crazy stuff, and they separate them from the rest of society. So Jada has the North Node, which rules your life's purpose and destiny in a sense, in Aquarius, and also Mars in Aquarius. Mars is the planet of action, how you take action in this world, physical action, physical drive, just any type of actions you take. So a lot of actions she takes are based on Aquarius energy, okay? The North Node, this is what you're here to do in this lifetime as a soul. Your soul's purpose is heavily associated with the North Node. So she is here to break barriers and go against the norm. And, with it in a conjunction with Mars, she's here as a fighter against what people think is normal, and to do her own thing and to introduce to the world ideals about things that are different. In quote unquote different. Okay. So that's what her soul is here to do. Aquarius teens. All right. Her South Node, which this stupid website doesn't even show. I don't know why it's so dumb, but the South Node is important too. It's directly opposite the North Node. So if her North Node is 14 degrees of Aquarius, her South Node is 14 degrees of Leo. Let's just pretend like it's right here. Okay. So that means she's already done the Leo thing in her past lives. That's why she comes here with Leo gifts of being able to be an actress, to be center stage and all of that. But she really wants to live a humble Aquarius. Well, I don't know if it's really humble, but she wants to live an Aquarius life. Okay. Which is different. I don't know Jada's birth time. I don't know her ascendant. I honestly haven't studied her and been a big enough fan to like really tap into her energy and figure out what her ascendant sign is, what her rising sign is, and how all this stuff really lines up in her chart. But I always have felt really big Aquarius vibes from Jada, mostly because of her marriage to Will and how everybody thinks it's like weird or whatever. So what's up with Will Smith? What in his chart makes him open to open relationships and open marriage and all this stuff people think is hella weird? Well, Will, he's a Libra sun, and this is his rising sign according to Astro Theme. I did read their source. They say they got his birth time from a chart given to Will Smith, given by Will Smith to an Indian astrologer. So this could be legit, okay? I'm always a little bit sketchy of Astro Theme when they have an ascendant and a birth time. I'm like, where'd you get it from though? But anyway, They have Will as a Gemini rising, which could make sense. You know what I'm saying? Whatever. But he has the sun in Libra in a conjunction with Uranus. Now, Uranus is the planet that rules Aquarius. So it rules Aquarian things, which is all the stuff I mentioned, outside the box, outside the norm. So Will is definitely different, outside the box. He sees life and he expresses himself, which is the sun, through a Uranian lens. So he's very much open-minded towards a lot of things that other people deem as weird. Now, he has this conjunction in the 5th house, which can rule dating. It's dating and romance. So his ideas of dating and romance are different from the average person. And he's going to express himself overall in life as a human being through the sun, with Uranian tendencies, through the filter of Uranus. So he's just a weird guy, okay? According to society, he's just a weird dude. And when you are a very outside the box person and you're open to different things, people are always going to be picking at you and like, I don't understand why they do this. You're just always going to get that from people, okay? So anyway, that is why Will is open to all that stuff. Not only that, he's got a Gemini rising, which puts his 7th house of marriage in Sagittarius. Sag energy loves its freedom. Sag energy cannot stay in one place for too long. Okay, that is just period point blank of Sagittarius energy within itself. If you are a Sag and you are a ride or die for one person for life, and you take offense to me saying that, I really don't care, because I'm only talking about the energy of Sagittarius within itself. You can have other placements in your chart that make you more of a monogamous person, okay? But 7th house of marriage in Sag, he's very... You know what I'm saying? He likes his freedom to roam. Like Sag, the symbol for Sag is a centaur, which is a half man, half horse, half man, half animal. He's got to gallop out there, you guys, and explore. When it comes to relationships and commitment phobes are usually they have Sag energy, or Aquarius or Gemini somewhere very strong. Okay. So anyway, Will's very, he's very freedom loving when it comes to partnership. You know what I'm saying? So, Will also has Venus in Libra. Venus in Libra. Now, all 3 of these people that I'm discussing, August Alsina included, they all have Venus in Libra, but at different degrees. Venus in Libra, Venus is at home in the sign of Libra. Venus rules the sign of Libra. And Libra energy just loves to collect beautiful people. They just admire beautiful people no matter what. It doesn't matter if they're in a committed relationship or not. They're still going to look at other people. And hey, some Libra Venus people, they take it even further. And they like to flirt, and they just like the energy exchange between themselves and another person that is polite and that is complimenting and flirting and even affection. They just love all of that. Okay, so all 3 of these people have Venus and Libra. Venus and Libra people tend to be very flexible with relationships too. Okay, they're an air sign. It's hard to contain the air. You know what I'm saying? So they all 3 have Venus and Libra. That's very important to remember. So that's why Will and Jada are so open. Will and Jada, they have an interesting thing going on in their charts. Now, there's a big thing that I want to talk about with all 3 of these people. The North and South nodes, okay? Do not ever dismiss the North and South nodes when it comes to relationship astrology, when it comes to compatibility. You have to look at the North and South nodes in each person's chart that's involved with each other. Why? Because they rule karma and destiny and fated meetings with people. They rule your current life destiny, which is the North node, and the South node, which is fucking not pictured here. It gets on my nerves, but it does exist. Okay. South node is your past life. Now, not everybody believes in past lives. Not everybody believes that our souls come back around in different lifetimes and stuff. I didn't believe that stuff wholeheartedly until I started studying astrology. Not only that, but some hardcore experiences that I've had that it just made it hard to deny that this is something that is legit. Okay. I'm a person that learns not only from reading books and, reading data and studying and everything with astrology, but experience is really the best teacher in life, but with astrology too. And let me tell you, I've had some experiences, and I still am having a few experiences that have to do with the North and South nodes that really prove that this shit is legit when it comes to your souls having been here before. Not only that, but you meeting people again that you have known in other lifetimes, and having soul bonds and having soul ties and soul contracts, whatever you want to call it. Your soul is so strong and powerful. And this is the thing in the human experience. A lot of people are not connected to their soul. They're not. They're just only connected to the world around them that's pictured in front of them. And they think that's it. That's all there is. They don't see past that. They don't allow themselves to feel and connect to anything past that. But your soul doesn't give a fuck. Okay? When it comes to the earthly realm and the constraints of it, your soul doesn't give a shit. If you connect to something or someone via your soul, it's going to, and you allow the power of it to like really shine through, you're gonna do things that people who are only so engulfed in the physical human experience are not gonna understand. They're not gonna understand it. They're gonna think it's weird and yada 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 and talk a bunch of shit. Who cares, right? Your soul does not care when you're connected to it. Okay. So actually, whether you're connected or not, there's some powerful things that go on, especially when you connect with another soul, that it's just mind blowing. You're like, where is this coming from? Why do I feel so tied to this person, so connected to them? Why do I gravitate towards them? Or sometimes, why do I have such an aversion, whatever, like to this person? Why do they irk the depths of my soul? Like, why can't I stand them? Like, why do I feel like I can't be around this person because they bother me so much, even though on the surface it's like I should like them. Oh, on paper they're this, that, and the other, but your soul says F a paper. Okay, I just wanted to say that. So the North and South nodes, karma and destiny, fate, your soul's journey. North node, soul's journey and purposes in this lifetime. South node, previous lifetimes, what you carry into this lifetime from the past. Your true soul is in your South node, embedded in there. So Will has a South node at 9 degrees of Libra. Remember that, 9 degrees of Libra. Let's look at Jada's chart. She has Venus, which rules love and relationships, at 1 degree of Libra. So it's a little far off from the degree of Will's South node. But she has Lilith, the asteroid Black Moon Lilith, at 7 degrees of Libra. Now, let me tell you guys something about Lilith. Also, when it comes to relationships, when it comes to the constraints, the confinement of relationships, Lilith gives no fucks either. Lilith is an asteroid. Go look up the story of, and I know this is controversial, and if you have anything negative to say about it, I really don't care, but there's a story in the Bible, yes, the Bible, okay, about Lilith. Now, I'm not an avid Bible reader. You can say what you want to say and think what you want to think about that. I don't care, but I have heard of the story of Lilith being Adam's first wife, but she was more of a vixen type. She was very independent. She was very into her own freedom as a woman and liberation and raw sexuality and expressing that. And Adam wasn't with the shits. He wasn't down with that. He wanted him a nice little obedient wife. And Lilith, she wasn't about that life. So she got kicked out of the Garden of Eden, like exiled or whatever. So Black Moon Lilith, the asteroid, she's known as a home wrecker, okay? When you find Lilith somewhere in a chart and her energy exchanges with another person's planet in their chart, she's known as a home wrecker. And also, yes, that vixen. She brings out that inner vixen in feminine beings. And in masculine beings, when their Lilith is activated, that's their ideal vixen woman that they fantasize about. Okay, so just keep that in mind. So Will's south node, which is the point of his soul's past, where his soul has been, is in a conjunction with Jada's Venus, faintly kind of far away, but also her Lilith. What does that mean? They have a soul tie that goes back some lifetimes. She was probably someone who played that vixen role and was a lover of for Will in previous lifetimes before, or at least one lifetime, whatever. They have that connection. So that's why it's very hard to let go of each other. Okay, especially when you have Venus and the South Node involved, you guys, it's very difficult to let go. You really do feel like you have a contract to be with that person one way or another, no matter what, in this lifetime. You can't stay away from each other. You really can't. It's so hard. And if you try to yank yourself away, it feels like you're cutting off a limb. It feels like you are destroying a part of your own self. Okay? Just remember that. And pardon me if I get any type of emotional during looking at this stuff, because I really feel, first of all, when I look at people's charts, I feel their energy. Okay, first of all. Second of all, I have experienced this firsthand, big time. Okay, and I know the pain, big time. I know it personally. So when I read other people's stuff and I see stuff like that, I feel them. And yeah, I know what it feels like. And the shit is it's not fun. No matter how much people will smile when they're together or apart, or say, oh no, everything is fine. And yeah, we're cool. And you know how they feel something so deep beyond this fucking universe, beyond this world, on the inside. Okay. So Will and Jada, they really have a connection that's super hard to let go of. Now, take a look at Jada's North Node and South Node. 14 degrees of Aquarius and Leo. Now look at Will's chart. If this really is his birth time, his MC, midheaven, which is his public image and his career and his social status and his identity to the whole entire world, is at 14 degrees of Aquarius. So Jada really is a part of his purpose in life, meaning his career and his public image. Yes, they are tied together, like glued together, because especially with her North Node being at the same degree, the same exact degree, like, come on now. That's a very unbreakable bond. So hard to break. And that means his IC is exactly opposite that, which is 14 degrees of Leo. Now the IC, it rules your roots, your family, and it's also a very soulful part of your chart that shows your soul, your deepest emotions, and where you come from, and all that stuff is the IC, or the fourth house cusp. If you're a major astro nerd, you know that too. But it's at 14 degrees of Leo. Okay, so that's where Jada's South Node is. That means they feel like they were family and married and all that stuff in a past life, and they probably were, and they met again in this lifetime, and that's why they're like, no matter what, no matter who, we are together. That's why they call themselves a life partnership instead of a marriage. You know why? Because not just because, oh, they're weird and they're swingers and they're weird and that, because their souls say so. Their souls have been here before with each other, probably married and or lovers. Maybe they've done the marriage thing and they've done the forbidden lover thing in past lifetimes. Okay. So they came back around to do it again. And instead of trying to force all these rules and everything, and confinement on each other, they're like, you know what? I love you unconditionally. Why? Because my soul loves your soul. And I just love you as a soul beyond the human experience. So for that, I'm going to respect you, and you do your thing. When you have that soul bond and that unconditional love, the things that person does as a human being, if you really truly are down for them, you will dismiss some of those things. You don't care. And even if they make you look like a fool, they make you look stupid to everybody else. You don't give a shit. You really don't. So that's why Will and Jada have such a strong bond. And yes, they're down with the open, quote unquote, open marriage, open relationship thing. Now, where does August Alsina tie into all this? What's interesting is there's the exchange between Will and August. I'm not going to look too deeply into that because it's more about August and Jada, and I want to explain some things more about them. But August Alsina, he has Chiron. Chiron is the asteroid that's called the wounded healer. It's a soft spot. It's a bruise in your life that you've had issues with. It's where you have repeated issues in your life and you have pain and suffering there. And that pain and suffering will come up a multitude of times in your life. Okay. But because of where you suffered and you feel that pain, you are able to help other people to heal who have had the same pain. Okay. So, August has that asteroid at 16 degrees of Leo. So when we look at Will's chart, 16 degrees of Leo falls right here, right on his IC, which rules his family. So what does that mean? It means for August, he felt like Will was family, and Will's family, his family life, was very healing to him. It was very healing. The fourth house is your household too. It was very healing for him to be within the Smith household. He really felt like they helped him to heal his pain, right? But also it's wounding. So August Alsina speaking out his truth about his relationship with Jada and how he was intertwined within the Smith family in some very unconventional ways according to society. It did put a wound right here on Will's fourth house of home and family by him speaking publicly about it, because it's like, dang, it does hurt. I'm sure it hurts Will. He's like, no, don't be putting our business out there, our family business out there. So August speaking on it, yes, it does affect Will. It puts a wound right here. Okay. Now for Jada, her south node being 14 degrees of Leo, south node being past life, your soul's journey where it's already been. August having the wounded healer in a conjunction with that. This is the first thing that bonded them together. It probably wasn't the fact that August is fine as hell. Okay. He is, he's a beautiful man. I'm sure that was secondary. She was probably a healer for him, or maybe him for her, or maybe both in previous lifetimes. Okay. But also, that wound comes up again. They may have healed each other and hurt each other in past lives. Okay. So that's something to remember. So that's why they stuck the south node could be like glue, you guys. It's a glue. Whenever people have me do relationship astrology, I look at the north and south nodes. I look at other points that bond people together. And I say, these points are the glue that holds you guys together, that keeps you coming back to each other or sticking with each other or so attracted to each other, whatever, right? So the south node is one of those glue points. So August and Jada, they have this healer wound, hurt and heal thing that carries over from past lives. Okay. So that's one point. Now, what else in August and Jada's, synastry. Now, synastry is the word for relationship astrology or compatibility. Okay. What else bonded them together? So not only do they have that past life healer thing, pain thing. Let's look at a few points here. I'm going to show you guys why the degrees of where a planet are so important. Okay. So August has Mercury, which is the planet of communication, and it could be associated with friendship also. Like when you talk to people and you can really bond with them because you guys understand each other, you speak the same language. It doesn't matter. I'm not talking about English or I'm talking you guys understand each other on a mental level is Mercury. Okay, so he has Mercury in Virgo. He speaks Virgo. Okay, Jada, she also has Mercury in Virgo. She has it at 9 degrees of Virgo. Okay, so their Mercuries are kind of close together. When people have Mercuries close together, they feel this friendship bond. You could feel like that person is your freaking best friend right off the bat. You feel like they understand you. Like, wow, like you connect mentally, okay? And Virgo is ruled by Mercury. So Virgos are very attracted to people who they can converse with about any and everything on their level. They're especially more than other signs attracted to that. So they were attracted to each other mentally on that level too. Okay. Now, August, he's a Virgo sun and Jada's a Virgo sun. His sun is at 11 degrees of Virgo. And Jada has the moon at 14 degrees of Virgo, very close to his sun. Now, when you have a sun and moon combination of the same sign, okay, it works well. I find that it works well both ways. Whether the man's moon and the woman's sun are in the same sign and conjoined to one another, or it's vice versa. But people say sometimes that when the moon is feminine energy and the sun is masculine. So it worked even like really well for them because her feminine energy is in a direct conjunction with his masculine, the sun. Okay. So they really saw each other. They saw one another within each other. When someone is the sun to your moon or the moon to your sun, this is one of those quote unquote soulmate conjunctions in astrology. You really feel like that person is a part of you. You feel like they are a missing puzzle piece. You feel it's one of those aspects to where you feel like it's not as it is very powerful. It's not one that's as addicting as other conjoining aspects between two people, but it's one that does make you, it's a beautiful blend of energy. It's harmonious. And you really do feel like that person is like your twin. You know, when people talk all that twin flame BS, like I don't want to say it's BS because I do think the twin flame theory, there's parts of it that are true, but people tend to twist it into something stupid, you know, and they say every person they have a crush on is their twin flame. And I think that's like fucking dumb. Not everybody is your twin flame. Okay. But to feel like someone is a twin soul to you, the sun and moon aspect, sun and moon conjunction is one of those things that make you feel like that. Indeed, because you see the other person as a reflection of yourself. And, you know, people say, oh, well, if you fall in love with yourself, doesn't that make you a narcissist and all these other stupid titles? Listen, no, you feel like somebody understands you. They really understand you when you see them as a reflection of you. It's like, I could just be myself with you and I don't have to put up a front. Oh, there's a bunch of other people out there. Maybe I might have to adjust my personality a little bit in order to get along with them. But with you, if you're the sun to my moon, you're the moon to my sun, I don't have to do that. I could just be me. And we're two peas in a pod. We're this one and the same, you know, we're like Forrest Gump says to Jenna, you know, we're like peas and carrots. When you have this aspect, you really feel like that, okay? And again, pardon my emotions, but I really feel this stuff on a deep level, okay? So, sun and moon conjoined to one another. Not only that, but see, his sun is 11 degrees of Virgo, but Jada, she also has this asteroid here that looks like a little tree or something. It's called Juno. It's associated with marriage and partnership. Now, some people say it can represent the problems and issues within marriage. Some people say its ideal marriage partner can be shown through Juno. It could be both. From my experience and observations of real life human stuff, it could be both, okay? Okay, it's associated with marriage in general. You feel like that person, you should be married to them. Like there's right away you could feel married to somebody. This is why there's a lot of things in astrology that'll show you why, even though people say, oh, well, you're supposed to take your time and there's rules to like how long you're supposed to be with somebody before you say I love you or you feel like you love them. Love has to take time. Or if people jump and get married right away, people will have something stupid to say about it because it doesn't make sense. It only took blah, blah, blah amount of time. Listen, when you have some things, a certain energy exchange between yourself and another person, time doesn't matter. Time doesn't matter. Age doesn't matter. And whether people like it or not, the barriers and restrictions of another commitment to another person doesn't matter. None of that matters. Energy doesn't lie. Okay? And your soul doesn't lie. All right. So she has Juno at 9 degrees of Virgo. Now it's in a conjunction with Mercury, which is interesting. Mercury's communication. So she does like to communicate a lot about marriage and relationships, right? That's why she has her little red table talk. I don't know what else they talk about, to be honest, because like I said, I can't sit here and say I'm a big fan and I've watched the whole series. I've only watched a few episodes. But to the best of my knowledge, Jada likes to discuss marriage and stuff a lot. Okay. Now, with her Juno being at 9 degrees and August's sun being at 11 degrees, that's a conjunction too. So he sees her as wifey. And she probably had felt in her heart, in her spirit, like this wifey type of a vibe. When she's with August, he activates that for her. Hold up, let me see what's in Will. Does Will have anything around that degree? Around 9 degrees of Virgo. His Mars is there in a conjunction with her Juno. So yeah, she could feel like that wifey vibe from her Juno to Will's Mars. I guess you could say that too. But yeah, but the sun illuminates. So he illuminated that little wifey vibe in her. Okay. So that conjunction makes them feel married in some way. Okay. Or they could be married, or they're ideal marriage partners. Now, Jada has the sun in Virgo also at 25 degrees of Virgo. And her Pluto is 29 degrees of Virgo. August has Jupiter at 22 degrees of Virgo. So her sun and Pluto are magnified by his Jupiter, and her sun on his Jupiter. This is another aspect that, it's not super romantic when it comes to the bond between two people and synastry and astrology compatibility. It's not romantic, but Jupiter is about abundance and feeling good. It's all the feel good stuff in life, you guys. It's like when Jupiter transits and your Jupiter placement being activated makes you feel like life is good. Life is good, like that. Nas has a song and an album called Life is Good. And you guys know I'm a hip hop hippie. That's what I think of when I see Jupiter. And when somebody activates your Jupiter, you feel so good with them. You feel like life is good. And also Jupiter is a planet of inspiration, of motivation, of telling somebody, you know what, you're the bomb, you're the shit, you're this, you're that, and you believe that from them. You have an exchange with somebody, like you guys both encourage and inspire one another when you have Jupiter conjunctions. So they both were that for each other. Or it could just make you feel hella good with somebody in general. Okay. And yeah, I guess she was somewhat of like a mentor to him. And I'm sure he inspired her too, in some ways to, maybe change some things about herself. He motivated and encouraged her as well, gave her a bunch of kind words. I mean, if you guys have followed this story, it's been rumored for a year and some change, or almost a couple years now, that they had something going on. And for her birthday a couple years ago, August posted this heartfelt birthday post to her that included some poetry, and he really poured out his heart and soul about her. And that's when all these suspicions arise. But you know what? A Jupiter exchange between two people and all this other stuff they have too will definitely do that. You just feel like they are the light of your life, and the other person feels that too. Okay, maybe one might feel it more than the other, but there's definitely like you feel like somebody just, yeah, they light up your life, man. So they have that exchange. And then Pluto. Pluto is the planet of your deepest, darkest, anything and everything. And it's also the planet that rules Scorpio. And like I said, Scorpio rules, it rules sexuality and all that. So Pluto rules that too. So he definitely, his Jupiter on her Pluto, Jupiter expands what it touches. So their intimate life was bomb. Okay, that's one thing that tells you that their intimate life is hella bomb. Okay, and it's an exchange that hits you deep in the feels and hits you in the soul. It's not just physical. Okay, Pluto is a planet that is associated with the deep part of your soul. You can say that too. Bonding with somebody on a soul level, if somebody's anything conjoins to your Pluto, it activates that part of you. And they can also feel that to a degree as well. Okay. Now, what else did they have cracking? I do have notes here, you guys, but I am freestyling a little bit. So, August, like I said, all three of these people, August, Jada, and Will, they have Venus in Libra at different degrees. He has Venus at 3 degrees of Libra. Jada has Venus at 1 degree of Libra. Okay, so their Venuses conjoin to one another. So not only do they have Mercury, communication, they have their sun and moon, which is feminine and masculine, ultimate energy intertwining. They have their Venuses, which is love, the expression of enjoyment of the human experience, the physical experience. So they enjoy life together. When they think, I bet you anything, when they had this bond really strong, they were dating or whatever you want to call it, there's probably times to where one or the other, they like to enjoy things like eating together. They probably gave each other real bomb massages. Just the touch and the feel of the other person just felt like heaven. When your Venus exchange, and they probably enjoyed simple things. It's like, yo, I smelled this flower today and it smelled like blah, 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 blah. Like they had to message them that, or, you know what I'm saying? Or, yo, like I tried this dessert today and it tastes like blah, blah, blah. It's bomb. Like you have to experience this with me. Anything that appeals and pleases the five senses, they like to enjoy together. And they probably, whenever they enjoyed anything, they thought of the other person. I saw this beautiful blah, 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 and it reminded me of you. Or you have to see this. Let me send you a picture if you're not with me. You know what I'm saying? Like that is how Venuses being in a conjunction to one another act. Or even Venus on the moon, that can also act that way too. So their Venuses are conjoined. They love the physical experience of each other, and they love the physical experience of life, sharing that with one another. Now, she has Venus conjoined to Lilith, which can make her a vixen like herself, right? But remember, August, his Venus is 3 degrees of Libra. Her Lilith is 7 degrees of Libra. That's a conjunction. What does that mean? She was like the ultimate vixen. Like she activated his Venus in these very in such a profound way that's she really turned him on. Let's just say that. Okay, they really turned each other on big time. Like if they started off as, yo, I'm attracted to your mind and your personality and how you talk, it may have started out like that, but there was an undeniable chemistry. That's why I told you guys earlier, Lilith, she's the home wrecker. She's known as the home wrecker asteroid, because when there's anything with Lilith between two people that close, it's so hard to deny the attraction. Very hard to resist. You have to be, it doesn't matter if there's a commitment, if there's a barrier, if there's, oh, this is taboo because we have an age difference. Lilith gives no shits. She gives no F's. She doesn't care. She's this raw primal energy. You know what I'm saying? And Pluto is raw primal energy too. So if his Venus is in a conjunction. Oh, and his Venus is with her Pluto too. Venus and Pluto, Venus is someone else's, Pluto activates raw primal energy too. And it activates this possessiveness. Mostly I've heard that the Venus person feels it more than the Pluto person. They feel possessed and kidnapped, like their soul and their body and their mind have been kidnapped by that person's Pluto. Okay. Pluto is known as the dark night of the soul and all this darkness and everything. Like Pluto actually does rule in life, you know, kidnapping and some of the darker things in life. So when someone's Venus is conjoined to it, you really do feel like that person possessed you. You can't think of anything but them. There's an obsession there. So there was definitely that. August, I bet you anything, even though he's a Sag moon, and you can get mad at me all you want to, people, for saying this, but the energy is Sagittarius. It loves its freedom. It's half human, half animal. Sag energy could be the ultimate F boy, F girl energy. Why? Because they like to gallop away once that adventure is over. Okay. He has a dose of that within his personality, being a Sag moon. But when he was with Miss Jada, he probably couldn't think of anybody else. No other broads out here. Maybe he could have, you know, dibbled and dabbled a little bit with some of them. But that Venus and Pluto, though, doesn't play around. It doesn't lie. He was obsessed with her, and she was probably really obsessed with him too. But she probably tried to do mind over matter and say, nah, I'm not gonna let this overpower me. Maybe she had more, I think she had more mind over matter power than he did. And he is such a soulful person. So it's like his soul just seeps out. He's more in tune with that than his human self, I feel. And she's very in tune with more of her human self. So because of that, she can deny this stuff and push it to the side better than he can. Okay? But that Lilith, she doesn't lie. She doesn't lie. So yes, that could be a homewrecker asteroid, meaning, yo, Will, I'm sorry, but I can't help myself when I'm around this man. Or, yo, Will, I'm sorry, I know this is your wife, but I can't help myself around her. We just have this chemistry that's fire. We can't escape it. So, I mean, like, you know, you're outside the box with this whole marriage thing. Is this cool or what, you know? Do I believe that Will gave him his quote unquote blessing or whatever, permission? Yeah, I do. I do. You can agree, you could disagree, whatever. But like I said, astrology doesn't lie. Okay. So Lilith doesn't lie. Speaking of that, where is Lilith in August Alsina's chart? He has Lilith at 14 degrees of Aquarius. 14 degrees of Aquarius. So what's popping in Jada's chart at 14 degrees of Aquarius? Her north node is exactly at that degree, meaning her soul's purpose, destiny, karma, and fate in this lifetime. So this was a fated meeting between these two people. With it being at the same degree, especially, not just the sign, hey, this shit doesn't lie, okay? So, yes. It was destined in this lifetime for Jada and August to have this Lilith exchange, which is forbidden, which is taboo. You know, the world is able to see this relationship no matter what. But they really activated this stuff within each other. They were irresistible to one another. Okay. Now, what's interesting also is he has Saturn. He has Lilith and Saturn together. Now, excuse me, like I said, in a masculine being's chart, Lilith can be who is their ultimate vixen, right? And he has it in conjunction with Saturn. Saturn rules maturity. It rules older people. Okay. So he was destined in this lifetime to be possessed by a Lilith who is mature and older than he is. Okay. And then also Jada has Mars at 12 degrees of Aquarius and his Saturn is 13. So they have a Mars and Saturn conjunction between each other. What does this mean? Saturn acts like an anchor. it's when somebody says this person holds me down, whether that's in a good or bad way, a lot of times Saturn is involved. So Saturn can be, a Debbie down, like a downer energy, just like a stingy old man. Saturn is what I call him all the time, right? But also it can be good when it comes to compatibility. If somebody's Saturn anchors down a planet in your chart because you really feel like that person holds you down, meaning they have your back through and through no matter what. And also, Saturn is about lessons, maturity, and all this stuff. He probably taught her some lessons regarding her Mars. Mars can rule impulsivity, how you act upon impulse. So maybe he anchored her down and taught her some things, like if she had any negative impulses, impulsive behaviors or anything, he's probably like, yo, slow your roll. Slow your roll. Saturn says stop and slow your roll. Okay. But also, yeah, Saturn motivates you to be your best self, but with a tough love type of a way. So he probably motivated her in that way with actions that she takes in life in general. And also with her soul's journey, her soul's destiny, Saturn on the North Node, that person is here to teach you some lessons. So August was here to teach her some sort of lesson. The karmic lesson, we don't know what it is. It could be something about love. It could be something else. Okay. But only they would really know that. If I look a little deeper and further and take time, I'm pretty sure I could figure it out, but whatever. Let's just keep it moving. So, I already talked about the Chiron aspect in his chart. Yeah. So look, there's a lot of North Node, South Node stuff between all these three people. There's Chiron, there's Lilith. The asteroids do matter, okay? Never discount or dismiss asteroids, you guys. And then the exchange of energy between these two people is undeniable. So when this story first broke, that there were suspicions that they had something going on almost 2 years ago, you better believe your homegirl here pulled up their charts, saw their synastry, and was like, bam, look, they can deny all they want, but there is definitely something going on here. Now, I could go as deep as to look up name asteroids. I used to do that all the time. I'll admit I kind of fell off with that a little bit. I'd have to pull up their charts and, in software or on astro.com and plug in some asteroid names and see some stuff. That could be even more telling and spill some more tea. And plus, if I had Jada's birth time and ascendant and also August, it would tell so freaking much. It would tell a lot more details. But from what I see, just looking at this, the surface or whatever, yes, they have soul ties, soul bonds. August is super duper connected to himself as a soul more than his human body. Okay. That could be why he has a lot of issues with his human body. I'm not trying to diss him and say he's not taking care of himself. Actually, he has admitted in interviews before that he will work himself, typical Virgo shit, right? Work himself so hard that he neglects his physical health. I can guarantee you he has a heavy, he's got like 12th house stuff, or he's got Neptune somewhere very prominent in his chart, to where that takes over the soul, the spiritual side of himself takes over more than the physical side. Okay. You can see it, and people, they talk stuff all the time about how he talks. Oh, he talks so slow and he talks like a space cadet. This fool is a space cadet, but I mean that in the most loving way. As a fellow space cadet, he's super connected to the beyond the physical experience. He is super connected to that. So when this man is he connected to Jada, that's where he was coming from with it. She activated all this soulful stuff within him beyond the physical, and plus the physical too. When somebody activates both within you, they really impact you. This man said that when he had to separate himself from her, that it killed him. And he really felt like he wanted, I'm not quoting him verbatim, but he said it killed him on the inside. It killed him emotionally. And I know what that feeling is like, unfortunately, when you have someone who activates your South Node, or you activated theirs. Lilith is involved, you know, or you have these other aspects that you feel like that person and yourself are one and the same. You're intertwined so much, you know. When you have to separate yourself, it really feels like you're conjoined twins, and you have to cut the other off and away from you and let them go out there in the world, but you still know that they belong to you in some sort of way, and they're out there, and it's like, where are they? Where are they? Your soul, your heart is like begging for them every day, looking for them. Your other half, they're missing. Where are they? You can't enjoy life without them properly. Everything reminds you of them. You want to, when you see something beautiful, you want to share it with them. But if you have to separate yourself from them, you can't do that. And that kills you. You know what I'm saying? So, again, my apologies for getting emotional, but this stuff is the real deal. It's real. And I do feel defensive about August Alsina, even though I don't know him personally. But when people are saying, oh, he's running his mouth like a bitch, you know what I'm saying? Look, that experience of loving to somebody to that level, and I think he did say this, when you feel love to that level that's beyond the physical and also the physical, it's a once in a lifetime experience. Or maybe you do feel it a few times in life. It depends on you. But when you feel that, it's hard to imagine yourself with anybody else feeling that, or allow it. When you feel that so deeply and then you get wounded by it and hurt by it, and you're such a deep feeling person, you don't want to feel that pain again. To feel that blissful, euphoric love like that is a dope experience, but it's so painful that it's like, yo, like, I don't know if I ever want to go there again, you know? And but he said he's grateful. His Sag moon will say, I was grateful for the experience. Sagittarius energy will definitely express things like that. And this is his feelings, his emotions is Sagittarius. So he will express his emotions and say, yo, I'm grateful that I can die a happy man knowing that I loved somebody that much. I got to experience that. But does he still feel that pain? You better effing believe it. I bet you it's hard for him to see pictures of her, to see anything that reminds him of her, you know? So I don't care what anybody says about, oh, well, Jada and Will are married, and, oh, well, she's older than him, and all this earthly time construct things and earthly commitments. Your soul gives no shits about it. And that's the last thing I'm going to say. If you have any comments, leave them below. Please be respectful. If you have anything to add, if you see anything else that I didn't see or whatever, please share it. If you've had any experiences with any of these aspects that I've talked about, these soul bonding aspects, please share it. I really love to hear other people's experiences with it, because like I said, when you feel stuff to that degree, you feel like you're an alien and you wonder why, like, why do I feel all of this so much? Is this normal? Is this natural? Like, it's your soul, man. And not everybody's in tune with that. So when other people say they are, like, you feel like, oh my gosh, I found somebody else. It makes me feel normal, you know? And what's normal anyway? You know what I'm saying? Your soul doesn't care. So thank you guys for listening. If you listened to all my rambling, I hope you learned something. I hope, you know, this was helpful to somebody or whatever. And I don't know if any of these people that I'm talking about would ever listen to this, but August Alsina, I feel you. I feel your pain. I would love to give you a big old hug and read your chart for you. Ever since I saw August and heard his music and everything, that's exactly what I felt like. I just want to give this man a hug and read his chart and talk about deep stuff, you know? But thank you guys, and until my next video, peace.